Hi, welcome back to Hacienda Homestead. I am Jenna, and today I am making some mini brown sugar loaf bread. And I found these at a local store, and they're just mini loaf bread pans. And so I can actually just put the whole thing in the freezer. So this will be good for when I have to take meals to people. I can just pull a loaf out and thaw it, and that can be their dessert. And I don't have to worry about coming up with dessert. My quick dessert right now these days are chocolate chip cookies. A lot of times when I take a meal to somebody, I just add a plate of chocolate chip cookies, but I thought this would be a nice change. So this recipe does call for 6 mini loaf pans, and I only had 4 of these. And so I had these also. They're a little bit smaller, but I think that they'll work just fine. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to preheat my oven to 350. And I'm going to go ahead and spray my pans. These I can already tell have a wax coating, so I don't think it'll stick, but I'm just going to go ahead and spray just in case. I have the worst luck about my bread sticking to my pans. I've tried everything. I finally ordered just some silicone regular bread baking loaf pans and hope that will solve all my problems. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add our brown sugar. I need 2 cups of brown sugar. It does not specify light or dark, so I'm just going to use light brown sugar. Oh. So 1, 2, and let's see. Then I'm going to do my flour. I need 4 cups of flour. I'm just banging things around today. I'm going to use a different cup because I don't want to get brown sugar in my flour. So I need 4 cups of all-purpose flour. Two tablespoons of baking powder. And a teaspoon of salt. And then I'm just going to stir this. Together. And this also can be made into larger loaves. It doesn't have to be 6 mini loaves. You can put it in a larger loaf pan. I've done 2 loaves. 2 big loaves with using this recipe before, and it turned out just fine. So it will make 6 mini or 2 big loaves, regular loaves. And then in a separate bowl, which I'm just going to use this measuring cup, I'm going to add my wet ingredients, which will be 2 eggs, 2 eggs, milk, and oil. And I need 2/3 cup of oil. It calls for vegetable oil. I use avocado oil. And then I need 2 cups of milk. I had to thaw some milk earlier this morning because we were running low. So here's 1. And then I have some in the sink. I was thawing it in some hot water so I could get some milk quickly. Usually we try to set it overnight and just let it thaw a little bit slower, but this will be fine. So there's my 2 cups of milk. I set that back in my hot water so it can continue thawing. And then I'm gonna whisk all my wet ingredients together. Now I'm going to gradually add my wet ingredients to my dry ingredients. This is a very wet batter, so just be prepared for that. It's a bread, but it's not, it doesn't really turn into a real stiff dough. And this bread, you can add like a powdered sugar glaze to it. I've done that before, but I found that it's almost too sweet then. This is a great bread just by itself. It's not, the sweetness isn't overpowering, but it seems like when I added that powdered sugar glaze, it was just too much. It really took away from the bread itself and made it really, really sweet. Now, if you like really sweet things, then you might want to add a powdered sugar glaze, but I'm not going to be adding a glaze because I felt like it was too sweet. This bread is lightly sweet. It's not overly sweet. It'd be great with coffee or tea or anything like that. So as you can see, it is a thick, wet dough. Still got to incorporate the last little bit that I put in. I think I'm going to see if I can switch to a spoon. I think a spoon would work better now. I've also made this with dark brown sugar and it turned out fine too. have everything mixed up. It's a nice, pretty golden color. And then I'm just going to spoon it into my loaf pans. I think I'm going to use this instead, measuring cup. And just kind of divide it among each of them. Now these pans that I bought from the store are a little bit bigger than mini loaf pans, so I might not even need the two. I might not even need these two. Ah, my nose itches. Okay. And I'm just gonna kind of add a little bit to each till I get what it looks to be about even. Okay, that looks about right. I'm just gonna make sure they're spread evenly. So that made 4, and that's fine. I just needed some. I just wanted to have some to put in my freezer. And then I've got a little bit of regular white sugar. And I'm just going to take a little bit and sprinkle it on top. Okay. Then I'm going to bake each one of these at 350 for 40 minutes. Or until I can insert a knife or a toothpick or anything like that and it comes out clean. I'm gonna set my timer. I always set my timer a little bit before I need to be notified. So I'm going to set it for 37 minutes. That way if I'm doing something else and the timer goes off, it's not immediate that I get there. So that gives me a few minutes to finish up what I'm doing. So I will be back when we pull them from the oven. I just checked our brown sugar bread and they are ready to come out of the oven. As you can see, they're nice and brown, very pretty. So I'm just gonna leave these on my stove and let them cool, and then we will try a bite. All of the loaves have cooled, so now I'm going to pop this one out, and hopefully it doesn't stick. It didn't stick on the sides, but I'm afraid, there we go. And Drew, so here we have our bread, and I'm just gonna cut a piece. Drew, you wanna come around? So Drew's gonna be our taste tester. You like it?
Mm-hmm. Tastes good.
Yeah. So here's what it looks like. It's nice and fluffy. And like I stated before, you can always put a powdered sugar glaze on it. I've done that and thought it was too sweet, so I'm not going to do that to any of these. But let me know if you try this recipe, and I'll see you next time.